this is day 3 of chapter 2b of probability and statistics. Our topic today is that you'll be able to create a 5-number summary and its corresponding box plot. So, what are these things that we're talking about? A 5-number summary. The 5 numbers it talks about are the minimum, the quartile 1, the median, quartile 3, and maximum. And what that does is it divides the data set up into 4 sections. Each one of these sections is exactly 25% of the data. All right. We have another thing called the IQR, which is the interquartile range. That's the quartile 3 minus the quartile 1, and that's 50% of our data. So, how do you make a box plot? First, what we do is we put the data in order from least to greatest, and then we find the median. So we find that number that splits up the data to 50% smaller and 50% is bigger. And then what we do is we find the middle of that lower half. So we would go into this bottom 50%. We would find the median of the bottom 50%. And then we find the median of the upper 50%. And these become our quartile 1 and our quartile 3. Then what we do next is we make a number line, and we label tick marks at even intervals in our number line. And we put dots at each of the 5 numbers from the number summary on that number line. And then we draw a box plot. So now let's actually do that. Alright, here I have all of these numbers. So it's we're going to calculate the mean and the median of commuting times in minutes of 20 randomly selected New Yorkers. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to make a box and whisker plot from this. So our shortest time, somebody only commutes 5 minutes, and then we have a 10, and I see another 10. And I see a 15, a 15, and a 15. Let's just make sure that we've got all these smaller numbers now. So here was the 5, 10, 10, 15, 15, 15. Oh, good thing I checked. There's another 15. So we're taking care of that 15. All right. So now let's look at, okay, we've got those smallest numbers. Now we have 20, 20, and a 20. And then we have a 25, and a 30, and a 30. Let's just double check those ones now. So we left off 15, so now we have a 20, a 20, and a 20. We had a 25, and a 30, and a 30. Alright, next we have a 40, a 40, a 45, a 60, a 60, a 65, and an 85. Let's check those now. So we had 40, 40, 45, 60, 60, 65, and 85. So there are all of our numbers in order from least to greatest. So now I have to find the median, or the middle number of these numbers. So I just start crossing stuff off. There are other ways to do this. I think sometimes the easiest way to do something is just to do it visually. Alright, so we get 2 numbers there. And so it's the middle of these 2 numbers. So we average them. 20 plus 25 is 45. 45 divided by 2 gives me 22.5. So our median is 22.5. Alright, I'm going to erase all those lines that I put in there because we're going to need to do some more work with this. So, the next step we need to do is we need to find our quartile 1. So we go to our bottom set of numbers and we find the median of this bottom 50%. So we ignore those 2 numbers we already used to find the median. Our quartile 1 is 15. We do the same thing with the other set of numbers. And our quartile 3, quartile 1 was 15, our quartile 3 is 45. Alright, and so now we have to find our minimum and our maximum. The next thing we need to do is find our, before we can find our minimum and our maximum, we need to find our interquartile range. And so our interquartile range, what that is our quartile 3, 45, minus our quartile 1, 15. So 45 minus 15 is 30. Now, if we notice, some of our maximum right now, 85, is kind of a lot bigger than the rest of the numbers. And our minimum right now, it looks pretty similar to the numbers. And so sometimes what we have what we call outliers, numbers that don't fit with the rest of the data. And so the IQR, which we just found to be 30, helps us to determine if we have outliers. So if we take our IQR 30 and we multiply it by 1.5, we then get 45. And so now if we add that 45 to our Q3, and we subtract it from our Q1, any numbers that are beyond those would be outliers. And so if we go 45 plus 45 is 90. So 85 is smaller than 90, so that means 85 works as our maximum. We go 15 minus 45. 15 minus 45 is negative 30. Well, 5 is bigger than negative 30, so 5 works as our minimum just fine. So we now have our 5 numbers. We're ready to make our number line. So when we make our number line, the key is to make our making our scale. And so we need to get all the way from 0 to 85. So I'm going to do a 0 right here. Here's 0, and I'm going to go up by 10 each time. 10, 20, 30, 40. And notice all these are equal distance apart, or as equal as I can get them to be. Here's our 90. So now what we do is we take these numbers, and right above this whole thing, we are going, I'm just going to move this down a little bit. Right above this whole thing, we're going to graph those numbers. So I'm going to do this one in purple. We graph our minimum 5 right there. Our Q1 at 15 is going to be right here. Let's increase these lines a little bit. Just give me a second here. There we go. And then our median is at 22.5. It's going to be about right here. Our Q3 is up here at 45. And our maximum is way up here at 85. So now we connect these numbers with a line. Draw a line all the way through them. My lines are not the straightest. And then in our inner quartile range, this 45 to 15, we actually draw a box. And we draw a line where our median is. And that is called a box and whisker plot, or a 5-number summary. Alright? It shows all of our data on here. It shows where the middle 50% of the data is, and then where the other 25% of the data are. Alright. So we just did this. We made our box and whisker plot. We found all of our information, and we did great. So what is a 5-number summary? Well, we start with the min and the max. The min and the max are the bottom, the minimum number, and the maximum number. They show 100% of the data between them. The median is the middle number. 50% of the data is smaller, 50% of the data is bigger. The quartiles show 25%. So 25% is smaller, 25% is between Q1 and Q2. Q2 is that median. 25% is between Q and Q3, and 25% is beyond Q3. And our bonus statistic is our inner quartile range, and that shows us the middle 50% of our data. So that was our 5-number summary. So write your summary and questions. Your essential outcome today was that you'll be able to create a 5-number summary box plot and its corresponding box plot. What numbers, things to think about, what numbers make up a 5-number summary? How do you make a box plot? What is IQR? And that is the end of lesson 3 of chapter 2B of probability.